Hi, this is English Rise. If you want to improve your English in a way that also feels good for your mind and your heart, subscribe and stay close. We are building fluency and inner strength, step by step. Let us begin. There is a voice that many learners know very well. You are behind. You are too slow. You should know this already. Look at other people. They are better than you. Maybe this voice speaks to you every time you open an English book or join a meeting or watch a video in English. You want to learn. You really do. But the process feels heavy. It feels like a constant exam. Like someone is watching, judging, measuring you. And sometimes, that someone is you. You become your own strict teacher, your own angry boss. Today we are going to talk about a different way. Learning without pressure. Not learning without effort. Not learning without discipline. Learning without the constant weight of shame and fear. Learning in a way that your nervous system can actually tolerate so that you can stay with English for years, not only for a few intense weeks. The problem with constant pressure. Pressure can be useful for short moments. A deadline, an exam, a presentation, a job interview. For a small window of time, pressure wakes you up. It gives you energy. It makes you focus. But many learners live in pressure all the time. Every time they study, there is, I must not forget. I must not make mistakes. I must be fast. I must be good. There is no rest, no mental breathing. When pressure is constant, it stops helping. It starts to damage. Your brain goes into defense mode. You feel anxiety, tension, self-criticism, fear of trying. Instead of being curious, you become careful. Instead of exploring the language, you try to survive it. And when learning feels like survival, you will only stay as long as necessary, not 1 minute more. So you study in waves, you push hard, you get tired, you stop, you feel guilty, you push again. This is not laziness. This is your mind trying to escape a painful environment. How school taught you to fear mistakes. Part of this pressure comes from the way most of us learned at school. Red marks on the page, crosses on wrong answers, grades, comparisons. Good students and bad students. Mistakes were not part of learning. Mistakes were proof that something was wrong with you. You learned to be careful, to only raise your hand if you were 100% sure, to stay quiet to avoid looking stupid, to see every error as a small humiliation. Now, as an adult, you carry this system inside you. When you speak English and make a mistake, you do not think, great, my brain is learning. You think, I am ridiculous. People will lose respect. I should already know this. So your whole body associates learning with danger. That is why learning without pressure is not just a method. It is re-education. You are teaching your nervous system that learning a language is not a war. It is not a courtroom. It is not a daily exam. It is a practice, a training, a long journey. Learning without pressure does not mean learning without responsibility. Before we go deeper, let us make something clear. Learning without pressure does not mean, I will do nothing. I will wait for the universe to put English in my head. It does not mean no effort, no structure, no commitment. It means you take responsibility for your learning, but you remove unnecessary violence. Imagine a good coach in sports. A good coach does not insult the player every time they fail. A good coach does not say, you are useless, Look at the others. You will never learn. A good coach pushes the player but also supports them. They say, "This is hard. You can handle it. Let us try again. This is what you did well. This is what we will improve." Learning without pressure means becoming this kind of coach for yourself. Firm, but kind. Demanding, but not cruel. Creating a safe environment for your brain. Your brain learns best when it feels safe enough to explore. Not completely relaxed, sleeping on the sofa. And not terrified, covered in fear. Somewhere in the middle. Alert, but not panicked. Curious, but not desperate. You can help your brain enter this state by changing how you study. For example, instead of saying, "I must study 1 hour or it is useless," you say, "I will study 20 or 30 minutes with full attention and zero self-attack." You close other apps. You breathe. You remind yourself, "For these minutes, there is no exam. No one is judging me. This is training." You treat mistakes like information, not like crimes. When you do not understand something, you say, "Interesting. My brain does not know this yet." You do not say, "I am so stupid. This is impossible." Safety does not mean you will never feel frustrated. It means you do not add extra punishment on top of the difficulty. Small doses many times, instead of huge doses rarely. Pressure often comes from trying to do too much in one day. You wait, you delay, then you feel guilty. Then you try to compensate with a giant study session. 3 hours, 4 hours, all the grammar, all the videos. At the end, you are exhausted. Your brain says, "Please, never again." Then you stop for a week. Learning without pressure uses a different logic. Smaller doses, more often, 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, or even 10 minutes on busy days, can be much more powerful than 3 hours once a week. Because your brain gets the message. This is part of my life. It is not a punishment. It is not an emergency. Repetition is more important than intensity. Intensity impresses you. Repetition changes you. When you lower the size of the daily task, you also lower the pressure. It becomes a natural part of your routine, not a mountain you need to climb every time. Choosing learning that you actually enjoy. Pressure also grows when everything you do feels boring. Many learners choose materials that they hate because they think, "This is serious." Dry textbooks, random lists of vocabulary, videos on topics they do not care about. After 10 minutes, their mind escapes. Then they feel guilty for not paying attention. Then they add pressure. "Come on, focus, you must." But there is another way. You can choose content that actually interests you. Music, stories, interviews, podcasts, videos about topics you love, short clips with real people talking. Enjoyment does not make learning childish. Enjoyment makes learning sustainable. If you like the material, your brain needs less force to stay there. You still need structure. You still need some challenge. But you are not fighting against total boredom. Ask yourself, if English were already easy for me, what would I naturally consume in English? Try to bring a little of that into your study. Learning without pressure is not learning without effort. It is learning without torture. Talking to yourself in a different way. Maybe the biggest source of pressure is not the material, not the time, not the teacher. It is your own voice. The way you talk to yourself when you make a mistake, when you forget a word, when you feel blocked. Listen to some phrases that many learners repeat. "I am horrible at this." I will never sound good. Everyone is better than me. I am too old. I am too slow. I am embarrassing. Imagine saying this to a child who is learning. Would it help them? Or would it destroy them? Now realize, you are that child when you learn a language. You are dealing with something new. You are vulnerable. You need support. Learning without pressure means changing that voice. Not to fake positivity. Not to say, I am amazing when you do not believe it. But to be fair, to say things like, this is hard, but I am trying. I made mistakes, but I showed up. I am slower than I want, but I am not stopping. Other people are better because they have practiced more. I am in my process. You become your own ally, not your own enemy. The practice is simple and not easy. Every time you catch a violent sentence in your mind, you stop and replace it with something more honest and more kind. Again and again. Over time, your inner climate changes, from storm to something more calm, allowing yourself to be a beginner. One huge source of pressure is the refusal to be a beginner. You are already competent in your native language. Maybe you are a professional. You have experience. People respect you. Then, in English, you feel like a child again. You do not have the same tools. You cannot show your full intelligence. You feel small. The ego hates this. So it says, if I cannot speak well, I will not speak at all. If I cannot say it perfectly, I will stay silent. This keeps you safe, but it also keeps you stuck. Learning without pressure means giving yourself permission to be new at something. To say, in my language, I am advanced. In English, I am in another stage. This is normal. This is not shameful. I will walk it. You accept. Broken sentences. Strange pronunciation. Forgetting basic words. Explaining things in a simple way that feels below your real level. You do not enjoy it, but you accept it. The pressure to look smart in every language is replaced with the willingness to grow in this one. And when the pressure to look perfect drops, you finally give yourself space to practice. Turning learning into a ritual, not a battle. One way to reduce pressure and increase consistency is to transform your study time into a small ritual, not something random, not something you only do when you have time. A daily or almost daily practice that has a clear place in your day. For example, you decide, after breakfast, I will spend 20 minutes with English. You always use the same chair. You prepare your notebook. You make a drink you like. You put your phone away. You press play. This becomes a familiar container. Your brain learns. When I sit here with these objects, it is English time. Rituals are powerful because they tell your body, you are safe. You know this. We have done this before. The more familiar it becomes, the less pressure you need to start. You are not asking, do I feel like studying today? You are simply entering a ritual you already know. And the ritual is not a punishment. It is something you built to support yourself. Making peace with slow progress. Pressure loves fast results. I want to be fluent by the end of the year. I want to speak perfectly in 3 months. I want to remove my accent completely. When reality does not match the fantasy, pressure becomes attack. You are failing. You are late. You are behind. Learning without pressure requires another relationship with time. You accept that some things take longer than your ego wants. You accept that you will study, and some days you will feel no difference. You accept that progress is often invisible for weeks, then suddenly appears at a small moment. You understand a joke. You follow a fast conversation. You answer a question without thinking too much. These moments are born from quiet effort, soft effort, repeated effort. If you only respect loud progress, you will always feel disappointed. If you learn to respect quiet progress, you will be able to stay for the long journey. And English is a long journey. Learning without pressure does not mean life without pressure. There will always be moments of stress. A presentation at work, a surprise question, a situation at the airport, an interview. You cannot remove all pressure from life. But when your daily learning is not a battlefield, you arrive at those moments with more resources. You have practiced in a safe environment. You have built vocabulary. You have trained your ear. You have spoken alone many times. So even under pressure, you are not empty. Also, because you are kinder to yourself, you recover faster from difficult experiences. If a meeting goes badly, you do not use it as evidence that you are hopeless. You use it as information. Okay, this type of situation is still hard for me. Let me practice it in my calm space. Your daily learning without pressure starts to slowly transform your performance under pressure. At the end, learning without pressure is about the kind of relationship you want to have with English and with yourself. You can choose fear, self-attack, comparison, and short, intense bursts of effort followed by long periods of avoidance. Or you can choose respect, curiosity, small consistent steps, a kinder inner voice, and a journey that you can actually stay on. You will still work. You will still feel uncomfortable sometimes. You will still have days when you are tired. But you will not turn every difficulty into a reason to hate yourself. From that place, you can continue. Day after day, week after week, year after year. And this is how real learning happens. Not under constant attack, but under steady care. You are not weak for wanting less pressure. You are wise for wanting a way to learn that you can live with, not just for a season, but for a lifetime. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.